Hi guys, welcome to the Channel of Love study group. We are reading How to Raise Your Own Salary by Dr. Napoleon Hill. We are on chapter 16. Make health a habit. Okay, I left on this quote. Silence has one major advantage. It gives no one a clue as to what your next move will be. Okay, let's crack on with this chapter. Chapter 16, Make health a habit. The physical body is a house which the Creator provided to serve as a dwelling place for the mind. It is the most perfect mechanism ever produced, and it is practically self-maintaining. It has a brain which serves as the centre of the nervous system, the coordinator of all bodily activity, and the receiver of all sense perceptions. The brain is the organ by which means, as yet unexplained by science, coordinates all perception, knowledge and memory into new patterns which we know as thought. The brain is the commander of all voluntary movements of the body, the controller of all involuntary movements carried on through the subconscious section, such as breathing, the heartbeat, digestion, circulation of the blood, distribution of nervous energy and the like. It is the storehouse of all knowledge, the interpreter of the influences of environment and thought. It is the most powerful and the least understood organ of the body. The brain is the housing place of the subconscious section of the mind, as well as of the conscious section. But the energy and the intelligence with which thought is produced flow into the brain from the great universal storehouse of infinite intelligence, the brain serving only as a receiver and as a distributor of this energy. Among its other duties, the brain operates a first-class department of chemistry through which it breaks up and assimilates the food taken into the stomach, liquefies the food and distributes it through the bloodstream to every part of the body where it is needed for maintenance and repair of the individual cells. All of this service is performed automatically, but there are certain simple aids which the individual can give the brain that will help it to maintain sound physical health. The burden of this chapter is that of describing these aids. Number 1, mental attitude. Inasmuch as the brain is the unchallenged boss of the entire physical body, we should recognise at the outset that sound physical health demands a positive mental attitude. Sound health begins with a sound health consciousness, just as financial success begins with a prosperity consciousness. And let it be here emphasised that no one ever succeeds financially without that prosperity consciousness, nor does one enjoy sound physical health without a health consciousness. Ponder this statement, for it conveys a truth that is of paramount benefit in the maintenance of sound physical health. To maintain a health consciousness, one must think in terms of sound health, not in terms of illness and disease, for we must emphasise that whatever the mind dwells upon, the mind brings into existence, whether it be financial success or physical health. Émile Coué, the French psychologist, gave the world in one sentence a very simple but practical formula for the maintenance of a health consciousness. Day by day, in every way, I am getting better and better. He recommended that this sentence be repeated thousands of times daily until the subconscious section of the mind picked it up, accepted it, and began to carry it out to its logical conclusion in the form of sound health. The wise ones smiled, not too tolerantly, when they heard of the Q formula. The not-so-wise accepted it in good faith, put it to work in earnest, and discovered that it produced marvellous results, for it started them on the road towards the development of a health consciousness. And here is the reason why a positive mental attitude is essential for the maintenance of sound health. A. All thought energy, whether it is positive or negative, is carried to every cell of the body and there deposited as energy on which the cells operate. B. The energy of thought is carried to the cells of the body through the nervous system and the bloodstream, for it is a known fact that the body chemist mixes the energy of thought with every particle of food that is assimilated and made ready for projection into the bloodstream. Positive evidence that this is true may be found in the fact that the mother, who nurses her child from the breast, may poison her milk by worry or fear, so that her child will become ill within a few minutes after taking the milk. And again, it is well known that any form of worry, fear, anger, jealousy or hatred that one may experience while eating will cause the food to ferment in the stomach without assimilating, and indigestion is the natural result. To maintain a positive mental attitude suitable for the development and maintenance of a sound health consciousness, the mind must be kept free of negative thoughts and influences through self-discipline and established habits. There must be no crabbing or fault-finding that hurts the digestive organs. There must be no sustained hatred, for hatred attacks reprisals in kind and upsets digestion. There must be no fear. It indicates friction in human relationships, lack of harmony and understanding within one's mind, and discourages digestion. There must be no talk about illness and disease, for that leads to the development of the worst of all diseases, a disease known to the doctors as hypochondria, which means, in the language of the layman, imaginary illness. It has been established that 3/4 of all patients who visit doctors' offices for treatment are suffering with nothing more than imaginary illnesses. Number 2, eating habits. This subject is worthy of an entire book, but inasmuch as there are many well-written books on the subject, we shall here confine ourselves to a few simple recommendations which are on the must list of all who would enjoy sound health. The musts of correct eating. A. First, there must be no overeating. It overworks the heart, liver, kidneys and the sewer system. A simple way to observe this admonition is the habit of getting up from the table before one is thoroughly satisfied. The habit will be a little difficult to acquire, but once it has been developed, it will pay off in big dividends, consisting in many benefits, among them a great saving in doctor's bills. Overeating is a form of intemperance which may be, and it often is, just as injurious as intemperance in drinking alcoholic beverages or in taking of narcotics. Letter B. One must eat a balanced ration consisting of at least a fair proportion of fruits and vegetables, because these contain the 16 major mineral elements which nature requires in the building and maintenance of the physical body. No vegetable contains all of these elements. Therefore, in order to provide the body with the building material it requires, one must eat a variety of food that is produced by nature from the soil of the earth. Moreover, one must be sure that the vegetables he eats contain all the mineral elements that nature demands, which is something that cannot be determined by the appearance of the vegetable alone. In most parts of the United States, the soil has been so long abused by neglect in not giving back to it the proper kind fertilisation that it no longer contains all of the elements it needs for the production of healthful food. Particularly is this true in the South, where the soil has been milked for generations by the growth of corn and cotton, until it is deficient in many of the minerals nature originally provided. This deficiency reveals itself most disastrously in the lackadaisical movements and mental attitude of many of the people of the South. Of course, they move slowly and with indifference because much of the food they eat is not of the right quality to give them vim and vigour. Dr. Charles Northern of Tampa University, Tampa, Florida, who is probably the ablest scientist in the field of soil feeding, has made astounding discoveries concerning the production of food. Through the application of colloidal chemistry, Dr. Northern has compounded a fertiliser which consists all the mineral elements needed by the soil for the production of healthful fruits and vegetables. He first analyses the soil that is to be fertilised, discovers which minerals are lacking, then compounds a fertiliser containing those minerals. As a demonstration of his ideas, he planted 2 rows of bunch beans, 50 feet in length, side by side in the same soil. One row he fertilised with a compound containing all the necessary minerals for the production of healthful beans. The other row contained no fertiliser. The row that had been properly fertilised grew perfect beans, which were not molested by bugs or insects, while the other row was literally eaten down to the stem of the beans by bugs and beetles. He discovered by his experiments that fruits and vegetables containing all of the minerals which nature intended them to contain developed within them a perfect immunity against attacks by insects. Moreover, he reasoned that the physical body which is supplied food containing all that nature requires for the maintenance of sound physical health will likewise repel disease, germs, and everything else that is deleterious to health. What a different system is Dr. Northern's scientific soil feeding from that of the average farmer who, if he fertilises his soil at all, merely goes down to the retail fertiliser dealer and orders whatever the dealer may have on hand, not knowing whether or not it contains the mineral elements his soil lacks. Healthful food must be grown to order from soil that has been analysed and is known to contain all the mineral elements which nature needs in the production of healthful food. Food that is lacking in the necessary mineral elements ferments in the alimentary canal, decays and sets up a condition known as toxic poisoning. Thus, deficient food not only fails to supply the body with the mineral elements it needs to carry on its maintenance work, but it actually creates a poison which may provide the beginning of a great variety of diseases. Some doctors have frankly admitted that most diseases begin in the alimentary canal because of improper digestion. C. There must be no gulping of food or fast eating. Such methods prevent the proper mastication of the food and also indicate a nervous mental attitude which becomes a part of the food and is carried into the bloodstream. D. There must be no eating between meals or tidbits, such as candy bars and other sweets. If any eating between meals is done, it should consist of ripe fruits, berries or raw vegetables. The better plan is to avoid between meal eating altogether. E. Liquor and other alcoholic beverages are on the taboo list at all times. F. Where properly mineralised fresh vegetables are not available, the deficiency should be made up by compounded vitamins. These are available in most drugstores, but they should never be taken without a complete physical analysis by a competent doctor, which will show how many vitamins are required and of what types. Vitamins contain the health-building factors of vegetation. They are the elan vital of all vegetation, the life-giving force. There is perhaps not one person in the United States who does not require at one time or another compounded vitamins of one combination or another to complete his or her dietary requirements. The wonders the vitamins perform in health building are many. Vitamin A dissolves kidney stones. Vitamin B1 aids the deaf. Vitamin G softens cataracts. Vitamin C helps to master hay fever and relieves arthritis. The story of the discovery and use of vitamins reads like the story of Alice in Wonderland, but the best of all sources of vitamins is in their natural state, as they exist in properly mineralised fruits and vegetables. Here they exist just as nature intended them for the benefit of living creatures. Victor Lindlar, in his book You Are What You Eat, describes a wide variety of fruits, berries and vegetables, with tables giving the vitamin content of each. G. Last, but by no means least, the mind must be conditioned and prepared for eating. One should never eat while angry or frightened or worried. Conversation while eating should be of a pleasant nature and not too intense. Family disagreements and discipline should never take place during mealtime. Eating should be a definite form of worship in which all negative states of mind have been discarded. It should be an expression of gratitude to the Creator for having prepared so great an abundance of the necessities of life for every living creature, not an hour for ugly expressions and negative thinking. Relaxation. Relaxation means the complete letting go of both the body and the mind, and particularly the clearing of the mind of all worries, fears and anxieties. There should be a period of not less than 1 hour in each day during which the body and the mind are habitually relaxed and released from all voluntary effort. Relaxation for sound health requires an average of 8 hours a day for sleep. During sleep, the subconscious section of the mind goes to work in earnest, repairing and rebuilding the worn-out cells and tuning up the whole body in a general way. One's sleeping time cannot be dissipated or drawn upon for other purposes for any great length of time without serious damage to the physical body. It is during sleep that the body, by some mysterious method unknown to science, builds up and replenishes its store of bodily resistance, that miraculous energy which keeps disease germs in check and influences the billions of physical cells to do their work. At least 1 hour daily should be devoted to some hobby or play, preferably in the open air and the sunshine, to break the rhythm of one's daily routine. Here, as at mealtime, the mental attitude should be positive, optimistic and pleasant. A game of golf or tennis or volleyball will work wonders for the person whose mind and body are engaged intensely by the demands of his daily occupation. Number 4, elimination. There are 4 sources of elimination of the waste matter of the body. They are 1, the kidneys, 2, the skin, 3, the lungs, and 4, the general sewer system known as the alimentary canal. These must be kept in first-class working condition at all times, and to make sure that they are in proper condition, one should have a complete check-up by a competent doctor at least once every 3 months. Of these 4 sources of elimination, the one that gives the greatest amount of trouble is the sewer system. The entire sewer system should be cleansed at least once a week. The sewer system should be completely detoxified at least once every 30 days. Many doctors are prepared to give detoxifications, which consist of a complete cleansing of the entire alimentary canal with the aid of pure water. These are not to be confused with an enema or the colonic irrigation, since detoxifications are much more thorough. Toxic poisoning is almost a national tradition with the American people, due in the main, as we have stated, to the fact that they do not get the right kind of minerals in their food. Those who live in cities and whose occupations are of a sedentary nature, where they get but little physical exercise, are almost universally the victims of toxic poisoning. Toxic poisoning and good dispositions are never found together. Toxic poisoning and positive mental attitudes are never found together. Remember this when the dull headache begins to put you on notice that your sewer system needs attention. Remember it also when your tongue is heavily coated in the morning and your disposition is one of irritability. Toxic poisoning kills off enthusiasm. It undermines the faculty of the imagination and it leads to hopelessness and despair. It also destroys ambition and personal initiative, the two qualities which must precede all personal achievements. And it provides a favourable spawning place for almost every known physical ailment and disease. There are danger signals that announce the presence of toxic poisoning, the chief of them being the appearance of a dull headache, followed by the loss of appetite. The headache is the great blessing. It is nature's language by which she telegraphs to the brain for assistance, but too often the assistant comes, if at all, in the form of a drug, which does nothing but cut the line of communication over which the headache is crying out for help. What the headache really needs is enough plain water to cleanse the entire sewer system. And the evidence that this is true consists in the fact that the headache usually disappears within 30 minutes after the sewer system has been cleansed. Number 5, hope. The person who is without hope is temporarily lost. Sound health inspires hope, and hope inspires sound health. Either way, one chooses to look at the matter. Hope is inspired by a definite major purpose. It is the natural offspring of the person who is going somewhere in life, knows where he is going, has a plan for getting there, and is busy carrying out that plan. And the man who is filled with the hope of achievement of his major purpose is so happy that he has no place in his mind for fear and worry and doubt. But make no mistake about this, hope and toxic poisoning never fraternise. Where one is found, the other will be absent. 6. Avoid the habit of drugs. The first thing one should do, preparatory to the development of a sound health consciousness, is to clean out the medicine chest and throw the entire contents down the sewer. Sound health does not come in bottles. Nature provided man with a very good system of health maintenance long before bottles or drugs were invented. Nature uses medicine for the maintenance of sound health, but she stores it in vegetables and fruits in the natural state, in the form of more than 40 minerals, the more important of which are calcium, iron, and... how do I say this? Okay, I'll pronounce it for you. I'll spell it for you. I can't pronounce it. Phosphorus, Phosphorous. Phosphorus. All of these minerals can be taken in the form of prepared pills and liquid medicines, but they serve nature's purpose much better if they're taken in their natural form, from food that grows from the soil. Moreover, nature has provided every person with an expert chemist who understands the exact proportion of each of these minerals that is needed for the maintenance of sound health. This is something which no individual can understand. Nature's chemist assimilates the food when it enters the stomach and the alimentary canal, reduces it to a liquid and extracts it from the right combinations which are needed for health. All this provided the food is grown from properly prepared soil. Doctors have learned a great deal about the anatomy of the physical body. They have learned much about the maintenance of sound health, but they have not yet learned how to correct the causes of disease as expertly as nature does the job. No doctor ever cures any disease. When a cure is effected, it is nature that does the curing. The most that any doctor can do is to cooperate with nature, and some of the best doctors do this without the use of drugs. They are philosophers because they take into consideration both the causes and the effects of all forms of illness and direct their attention mainly to the correction of the causes. Some of the drug doctors specialise in dealing with the effects of disease and often prescribe sedatives, which only serve to deaden the pain temporarily. Physical pain is nature's universal language in which she speaks effectively to every living creature on earth. Pain is nature's way of putting an individual on notice that some portion of his body needs attention, and the person who tries to kill pain without endeavouring to determine and correct its cause thereby offers effrontery to man and insult to the Creator. It is the cause of the pain that should be removed. There are times when one needs professional counsel from a doctor, but it is better to get it before one becomes ill than afterward. For here, as in most circumstances, an ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure. Find out how your body functions. Study the combinations of food that your particular system and working habits require. Acquire moderation in your eating habits. Use self-discipline in all your habits. Thus, you will express your highest form of gratitude toward your Creator. Everyone has been provided with a personal doctor functioning within his own body and skilled in the maintenance of sound health. That was an awesome chapter. Okay, I believe is this our final chapter? No, it's not. It's chapter 17, Benefit from Cosmic Habit Force. So until I see you guys then, take care. Much love. Bye for now.